Hi everyone. My name is Kenneth Ryu. That's Ken Ryu for short. I am of South Korean descent. I was born in South Korea, but I moved here to Canada. That was 19 years ago. I just finished kindergarten and I moved straight here and started elementary school here. Now, my name is Kenneth Ryu, but of course that wasn't always the case. Back in Korea, I had a Korean name, and that was Ryu Gu-hwan. However, after coming here, I adopted a new English name, which my father's friend named Philip Lang, a Chinese person, gave me and my brother an English name each. So mine turned out to be Kenneth, and I'm right now working with Kokovan, and I've been an instructor for 7 years. That's a long time now, and I realized that I have a lot of experience dealing with living in Canada and with instructions on many things that I could teach you about Canadian people and about English in general. So I'm going to talk to you today about the significance of having two names. So I've got my Korean name, the traditional name, and I've got my English name, my given name. Now there's benefits and negative sides to both things, and I'd like to tell you a little bit more about that over there if you'll join me. Okay, so as I told you, I have a traditional Korean name and an English name. My traditional Korean name is Ryu Gu-hwan, but my English name is Kenneth Ryu. So these are very different names. The reason why I want to tell you about my name is because a lot of international students and immigrant students have confusion as to which name that they should use, whether they should get themselves an English name or to keep their traditional name. Now this often has to do a lot with a person's pride, their own preferences, and maybe just some people really don't want to use a different name because it feels awkward to them. But there's benefits and negative aspects of both traditional and English names. I'm going to first start with the first reason why many people like to choose English names opposed to traditional names. The first reason is pronunciation. I'm sure all of you know that certain words are hard to pronounce in the English language for you. Of course, the same applies for English-speaking people. When you have Canadians or people who have lived in Canada for a long time and they speak only one language, which is English, they have difficulty pronouncing languages other than their own, just like you have problems with English. So when they were saying my name, they were very confused because they couldn't pronounce it properly. And also, I was starting to get upset because they were not calling me by my proper name. As you guys probably know, Gu-hwan does not mean Ku-hwan, but they can't say Gu-hwan, so they're just calling me Ku. But I'm not Ku, my name is Ku-hwan. That's why I was upset by my traditional name and I prefer to use my English name. Now I'm going to give you the second reason to why the English name is preferable. Now, a lot of you might wonder that why should I give up a perfectly good name that my parents have given me or my grandparents have given me for an English name? The second reason is acceptance. If you have an English name, then they feel that you are less of a foreigner. If people feel that you are from a different place and you have a name that seems very awkward to them or new to them, they'll start to feel that maybe you don't belong here. So in order to avoid that kind of an odd sentiment, you adopt a new English name. And this way, you become more familiar to them. They realize, oh, this person has a name just like me or my friends. So maybe they're not very different after all. And this is a huge help for when you're going to school because you don't want to be the odd student left out. Now, I'd like to tell you a funny story that I have. I have one friend who is also from South Korea. Now, his name is Yuseo. Now that's a perfectly normal name in Korean. It's very common and it's a very good name. But in English, Yuseo sounds like you suck. That means You suck is an insult. It means, hey, you suck. You're not good at all. Now his name is You Suck. Do you think the students would like a kid whose name is You Suck? Even if they could pronounce You Suck, they wouldn't call him that because it's funnier to call him You Suck. So they used to call him You Suck, You Suck, and as a result he changed his name to an English name. Okay. So for another reason, traditional names in a new tongue might eventually turn out to be insults or improper things, and that is why it might be a good idea to get yourself an English name instead. So ultimately, what I want to tell you about traditional names and English names is that if you have a traditional name and you really want to keep it, consider, is the pronunciation going to be difficult for the native speakers in the country that you're living in? And does it have an appropriate meaning? If that passes for both cases, then it's your decision whether to use your traditional name or not. However, I would strongly recommend that if you have a name that seems very inappropriate or is difficult to pronounce, then it might just be a good idea to come up with a new name. And it gives you a chance to be somebody else, so it might be a fun thing too. And next time, I'd like to talk about signatures and problems with your legal name in legal documentation, and finally identity.